Severe storms leave behind damage around the metro. The state Supreme Court rules a religious charter school is unconstitutional, and invasive mussels have been found in a Woodward County lake. We'll have details coming up on the KGOU AM News Brief for Wednesday, June 26th. I'm Nick Daniels. Severe thunderstorms last night brought destructive winds and caused power outages in central Oklahoma. Snapped power poles, downed trees, and damage to roofs were reported as wind gusts up to 85 miles per hour and large hail tore through the Oklahoma City metro. At its height, more than 50,000 customers were without electricity. OHP reported 3 overturned semis along I-35 near Perry due to the high winds. The extent of the damage will become clearer with more daylight. The power outages come ahead of dangerously hot temperatures forecast today. The National Weather Service says heat index values could reach up to 115 degrees. The Oklahoma Supreme Court says the state's contract with what would be the first publicly funded religious school is unconstitutional and must be rescinded. State Impact's Beth Wallace reports the ruling was decided in a 7-1 majority.
The lawsuit was brought by Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond, who argued that because charter schools are public schools in Oklahoma and by law must be non-sectarian, St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual Charter Schools contract was unconstitutional. And on Tuesday, the state's highest court agreed. In its ruling, it wrote, because St. Isidore will evangelize its faith as part of its curriculum, it violates Oklahoma laws, the Oklahoma Constitution, and the Establishment Clause of the U.S. Constitution. Despite St. Isidore arguing its creation was lawful through the Constitution's Free Religious Exercise Clause, the court wrote that as a state-created school, St. Isidore doesn't exist independently of the state and isn't a private entity, as in the other case precedents St. Isidore's arguments relied on. The case is likely not over, though. The court gave St. Isidore 10 days to petition for a rehearing, and it's expected the decision will be appealed. For State Impact, I'm Beth Wallace.
Invasive zebra mussels were found in a Woodward County lake during recent sampling. The Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation says it's the first time the mussels appeared in Fort Supply Lake. Zebra mussels attach to objects like pipes and boat engines and affect ecosystems by threatening native fish and wildlife. The agency's Aquatic Nuisance Species Program has confirmed invasive zebra mussels in more than 25 water bodies throughout the state. Officials say once the mussels are present, there is no feasible way to eliminate them. Seniors will outnumber children in the next 10 years in Oklahoma. That means more services will be necessary to meet older adults' needs. State Impact's Jillian Taylor reports Oklahoma Human Services unveiled a plan yesterday to handle the shift.
The 10-year multi-sector plan on aging includes objectives like providing more options for independent living, improving access to transportation, and expanding efforts to connect older adults with younger generations. The goal is to empower Oklahoma seniors to age their way. Oklahoma Human Services held listening sessions across the state to tailor a plan for Oklahomans.
This is a celebration. We now know what we need to do, and now we just got to do the hard work ahead. This is where the rubber meets the road, where the blood, sweat, and tears are going to create a better Oklahoman.
That's the agency's Director of Community Living, Aging, and Protective Services, Jeremy Buchanan. He says he hopes the plan will help to equip people serving seniors to handle this demographic change. For State Impact, I'm Jillian Taylor.
You'll find more news at our website, kgou.org. We also invite you to subscribe to the KGOU PM News Brief podcast.
I'm Rachel Martin. You probably know how interview podcasts with famous people usually go. There's a host, a guest, and a light Q&A. But on Wildcard, we have ripped up the typical script. It's a new podcast from NPR where I invite actors, artists, and comedians to play a game using a special deck of cards to talk about some of life's biggest questions. Listen to Wildcard wherever you get your podcasts, only from NPR.